Chopper debuted on OPTC Global on the 14th of May 2020, originally debuting on Chopper's birthday in Japan late 2019. Global had to wait a while for this character to debut, along with a free-to-play Wapple candy event. This Sugo-Fest exclusive's captain ability allows you to duplicate cotton candy whilst also boosting all characters' attack to work with absolutely anyone. His special is one of the best utility specials in the game, removing a wide variety of debuffs along with some healing. Introducing long-awaited present, Tony Chopper. In this series, we'll be traveling back in time to experience some of the older Sugo-Fest exclusive characters in their prime, aiming to show just what it was like to use these characters on their debut. I hope you enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's enter the Legends of OPTC. So thank you very much for checking out yet another episode of the Legends of OPTC, and in this episode we're going to be covering a solo legend release in Legend Chopper. And this is actually Chopper's first legend in One Piece Treasure Cruise, debuting on Japan during the Christmas period. I believe it was the 24th of December, I think it was 2020 or 2019-ish, I can't remember exactly, but December of the year they debuted Chopper, and then it was quite a fair few months later during the middle of the year when Chopper released on Global. But it came alongside some other characters. You had Dr. Kureha and Dr. Hirolook, and this was for a Wapple event. This event, they basically wanted you to use double Chopper with the support or the sub of Kureha and Hirolook to clear it, and it was a bunch of Christmas units. There was a Christmas Shirahoshi that was really good for this, and a lot of the Christmas units were boosted, and that was the event pertaining to Legend Chopper. So Legend Chopper himself, most people already know what his main role is in a lot of teams, but for those of you who don't know, this will be a good lesson for you guys. Chopper himself is a Psy Shooter Cerebral. Interestingly though, that his base form is a Psy Fighter Cerebral, so there were some instances where you actually wanted to keep an unevolved copy just so you could have whatever Chopper would do, but in a fighter sense, because his special is actually pretty good. But yeah, still, this form is a Shooter Cerebral. His captain ability would boost all characters' attack by 3.5, 1.25 health, guarantees duplicating all cotton candy drops upon the completion of an island. This is very powerful. The fact that you could just wave clear content, get to the end, and dupe drop a bunch of candy, like the Wapple event that debuted alongside Chopper, was the main reason to use him as a captain. Now, he does get the expanded captain, where he gets the higher attack multiplier, so not a big buff. And then, of course, he has the super evolution, which he gets a pretty substantial buff in his captain ability there as well. But yeah, captain-wise, very basic, but what he does is very powerful, generating more cotton candy, and cotton candy is always a nice thing to have to increase the statistics of your characters, not only for normal content, but more importantly for Pirate Rumble. Cotton candy is definitely very important for that. His crewmate ability does increase the amount healed from recovery slots, but he also, more importantly, resists 5 turns of Special Bind. And then when you look at the special ability to resist Paralysis, Burn, Bind, Despair, Special Bind, Attack down, Increased damage taken, Recovery down, and the Blindness duration all by 5 turns. And then removes Poison completely, heals 12,000 HP at the end of the turn for 3 turns. It's a good special. It doesn't do a lot, but what it does is really good. It's just a very powerful utility special, one of the best utility specials in the game. And of course, with his Super Evolution, it gets a lot stronger. So as we talked about earlier, the fact that he is a Shooter Cerebral, and then the unevolved version is a Fighter Cerebral, having a special such as this for a fighter team can be pretty good. So Chopper is a fantastic legend. He isn't used a hell of a lot anymore, I would say. At least personally, I don't use him that much anymore as a captain. Definitely still use him as a sub because of that powerful utility special. But we're going to be jumping into some pretty bland content today just to showcase what you can do with him in order to get cotton candy really effectively, because it's hard to really showcase him. It's just a utility special. But we want to showcase how the duplicating of cotton candy works, as this was the first character in the game to do that for specifically cotton candy. You had Legend Buggy come out beforehand, who would allow you to dupe drop one piece of treasure at the end of the quest, but this duplicates every single piece of cotton candy that you drop, so the more that you drop, the more that you get at the end of the run, which is kind of cool. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the content. So we're in game now here with Legend Chopper as our captain. Now the subs that you see on this team may seem, you know, pretty weird, but they're all here for a very, very good reason. One thing I did actually note when I was about to start recording here is I saw that the cleared crude section was actually selectable, so I clicked it, and I believe this was the team that I used to showcase the Legends series video with Borsalino as the captain. So it's crazy, you know, it was quite a long time ago, but yeah, there you go. The cleared crew for Borsalino is in here, but yeah, we're here to showcase Chopper today up against the Coliseum Sadie. So we're using these characters for very good reasons. Zoro and Eustace Kid Coliseum are, you know, mainstays in a lot of wave clearing teams. Big Mom is very good for Chopper as well. This is a character that allows you to do really good damage just with specials alone, so you don't actually have to worry about hitting normal attacks or having matching slots or anything. Big Mom can carry pretty hard, and Tezora's for one of the mini boss stages that we need to get through. So this is probably going to be a relatively short video. We're going to take our time with the first time to explain everything, and then we'll probably run it back and see if we can like just do it as fast as we possibly can, because yeah, we can do this pretty quickly. This is going to be a very, very fast piece of content. So, you can see that, you know, we need to stall for cooldowns for some of our characters, but luckily for us, you know, we've got Chopper and stuff who's doing really cool things, so we don't actually have to worry about, you know, using Chopper special for utility purposes or anything like that. Chopper is just used as the captain because we need the cotton candy drops, right? That's all that we really need. We can go ahead and use the Kid special here. Kid's also really nice because your captain needs to be either shooter or striker for his special to work. And what we mean by that is that when we launch the special, it's going to do end of turn damage for 2 turns. So we can go ahead and just pass the turn here. It's going to wave clear this stage, which is dope. And we can just move on to the next stage. We move on to stage 3, and we will still have the end of turn damage. So again, we can just pass the turn. And then the wave clear is just going to go through and kill everything again. It's just so laissez. You just don't have to worry about anything. And here we have Arlong as our mini boss fight, and this is why we've brought Tezora onto the team. So, you know, Arlong, he doesn't really do anything too crazy, removes our beneficial effects, gives us a 1.25 orb boost, so you can't like carry an orb boost into this stage, which is pretty annoying. But then we can just go ahead and use the Tezora special, which changes the top and bottom row slots into matching, gives us a chain lock, and he's actually about to receive his super evolution here on One Piece Treasure Cruise, which is pretty exciting actually. So that's going to give us a really good chain locking effect, and we can use the Cavendish to provide him with an attack boost as well. So we can just easily just one tap with him, and that's going to kill him. And then we can move on to the final stage, and we are going to have all these specials to just wave clear the entire room. So you can see Sadie's surrounded by a bunch of characters, which are obviously pretty annoying to deal with. But when you've got specials that can wave clear, when normal attacks only wasn't really a thing in some of these old pieces of content, Zora special, which is going to do 500,000 fixed damage to all characters now that this is the second time that we've launched the special. And then we can go ahead and use the Lin special, which is going to cut our HP in half, but then with the amount of HP that we have, or the amount of HP that we lost, it does it as damage by a multiplier back to Sadie. And it's double special launch, so we can just launch it again to kill Sadie, and then we just finish the content. Like, it's that easy. It's that easy. Very, very, very fast. And look, this is just one example. There are plenty of ways for Chopper to build teams to get through a lot of these coliseums or arenas, really, and you can just get through it and get a bunch of cotton candy for doing so. So let's see how much cotton candy we duplicated this time around. So we didn't really duplicate that much, but we get 4 additional drops because we're running double Chopper. So we get 2 from one Chopper, 2 from another Chopper. And unfortunately, we did only drop recovery candy, which is not as good. And of course, the higher difficulty coliseums that you do, the better chances of you getting more cotton candy. So we'll go ahead and just pass that. We'll go ahead and retry this time around. We're going to go ahead and try it as much as we possibly can. And this is one of the ways back in the day that people would just go ahead and farm as much cotton candy as possible. Chopper was just that guy back then. You know, having the ability to just get so much cotton candy was so good because it actually was pretty difficult to get a lot of cotton candy back then, especially if you're a newer player. Getting access to Chopper and Buggy, like having these really powerful characters you can use as captain to just clear content with and just acquire lots of items for your account. Legend Jack was another character similar to that, to give you lots of EXP, and having these wave clear characters was so good for that because both Chopper, Buggy, and also Jack could utilize this Coliseum Kid for wave clearing because both Buggy and Chopper are shooters. Jack was a striker legend. So these useful characters were really, really nice back in the day, especially for beginners getting their foothold into the game. But even for, you know, the higher end players, just being able to farm so much cotton candy, a lot of people would just max their entire box full of characters with like plus 200 cotton candy before the cotton candy update, where you could actually have more than 200 cotton candy on a character at a time, which was a pretty big update. And that introduction of that new update was one of the reasons why people went so crazy for cotton candy farming a second wave around, because people wanted to max their stuff even further past that plus 200 threshold. But we're back at the end here, Big Mom special again, and then we wave clear. So let's see, hopefully we can get better drops. Attack cotton candy is the one I need the most of. Most people want attack cotton candy the most, so we'll go ahead and see what we get this time around. Hopefully we get some attack. You can get lucky and get the plus 3 cotton candy, the golden cotton candy, but it's very, very rare to get. So we got some attack candy and some recovery candy, so we'll get a dupe of both due to the captain ability of Chopper. But that's pretty much it. That's the way that Chopper works in One Piece Treasure Cruise. So that's pretty much it. That is going to wrap it up from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, but looking forward into next week's episode. It's actually a pretty big one, as it was the introduction of both Sober Mask and Luffy Zoro. Now, I haven't really thought about it completely, whether I want to separate those two videos and have Sober Mask by himself and Luffy Zoro by themselves. I think I will do that. So next week we're going to cover Luffy Zoro, and then the week after we'll cover Sober Mask. So there's actually a couple of really good episodes coming up in the near future. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.